Well, and welcome back to Final Fantasy 14, Sorin's Journey. Right, I completely blanked on what I was going to say. I've had a bit of a busy day, and I thought I'd have a nap, and I didn't wake up as early before stream as I would have liked to, so my brain is lagging just a little bit. But we're back in Final Fantasy 14 to continue Sorin's journey through Endwalker. Last time we finished up the Sharlayan half of the opening segment. Few interesting things happening beneath Sharlayan. Few more secrets coming out. And then we return to Fafnir to take the battle to the Tower of Zot, which, as you can see on the screen, is no longer there. Tower's destroyed, people rescued. Now, looks like we're for a trip into the city again. Well, Thancred. Had enough rest, have you? You never were one for being idle. Right, Roshan bade us come to Megaduda at our earliest convenience. The others will join us there once they finish tending to the prisoners. Wait, on second thought, you and Estinian should go on ahead. I need to make a quick detour by the Great Work. Right. We left Graha in the alchemist's care, you see. Best to fetch him before he's crammed into a specimen jar. Oh, Dad? That might be a point. Just you and me, then. The guardsman at the gate should wave us through. I'll see you in the city, then. We did it, our first real victory. That's showing the towers can be destroyed. Just... whoever's doing so needs to be ready to take on a lunar primal. I don't know how many people we have capable of doing so. But I suppose now we have the warding scales. Don't have to worry too much about that. At the very least, there's no risk of tempering. I feel like just the night time. All the stars. Into Razatan. I wonder if I'll have any chance to look around the city this time. Sorry to keep you waiting, Estinian. With the tower gone, I expected the state of alert will be lifted. That's right, so hopefully... I'm curious to see the place. Oh, Honored Scions! You're free to enter at your leisure. As I cannot leave my post, I am afraid you must make your own way. Should you require directions in the city, the sentry stationed at the fountain atop the steps should be glad to assist you. Here we are. Though I've been to Razahan before, this place is a veritable maze. Rather than risk getting lost, we'd best ask for directions from this sentry at the fountain. Lead the way, and don't expect me to act as your tour guide like certain others. Right. I suppose before I get distracted, we should probably head straight for this, Megaduda, right? Actually, if a bit more time this time. Attuning to Ethernet shards probably isn't a bad idea. Is this the guy? Excuse me. Ah, Master Sorin. Oh, Master Sorin, I presume. I understand you are here for an audience with the Satrap. If you require directions to Megaduta, I should be glad to provide them. The Satrap's residence is situated in Dharma, the highest part of Razatan. To get there, I would ordinarily recommend a route that takes you by the bazaars in the city's north. Due to the state of alert, however, most businesses are currently closed and the Ephraid disabled. As such, I will provide you with an alternate path. First, please ascend the steps to the next to this fountain, and continue left. There will be more steps, and upon ascending them, you will emerge on Pax's path. Proceed through the large door on the right, and you will arrive at Reveda Fibers. Within, you will find another sentry who will give you further guidance. In other words, we head up. Sounds straightforward enough. Alright, so upstairs. What is that? Is this a temple or a Stinian? Ah, yes. I know about this portal. It leads to a nearby isle, the treasure vault of one of Razatan's wealthiest families. They took the God of Luck for their guardian, on account of which they occasionally open up a selection of their vaults, for aspiring treasure hunters to try their own luck, or so they say. There are also coffers hidden across the land that act as portals. Find one, and you gain access to the vault. Right. Something to bear in mind in case you exhaust your funds while on the road. It's a troublesome experience, as I can personally attest. Right, I wonder if that situation when we first arrived in Yedlmod isn't the only time Estinian's gotten... that he's overpaid for goods. Just keep going up, right? I guess this is the only way to keep going up. A lot of stairs from here. Excuse me. Heading to Megaduta, are you? In that case, please follow this hallway to my right, and go through the door at the top of the stairs. You will emerge at the entrance to the airship landing, where another sentry should be on hand to assist you. Incidentally, if you ascend the steps to either side of me, you'll find the workshops of Reveda Fibers. Though you're free to observe the artisans, take care not to lose your way. Do you mind if we make the distraction, Estinian? I'm a little curious. We've got time before Frankfurt and the others arrive anyway, right? This is... certainly colorful. Ah, Lavnarian weave. Hard to imagine more vibrant stuff. I dare say Amaric would be partial to the gold thread. And the blue, of course. He loves his blue. I've never put much thought into what I wear. A spare set of clothing is usually all I carry, and if that isn't enough, I can always obtain something locally. That's... I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that Estinian thinks more practically about it. Right, but we were to go this way, right? Excuse me. I'm looking to get to Megaduta. If you're here for an airship, I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So the state of alert is still in effect. Perhaps it's for the best. That aside, we're not here for an airship. We have business at Megaduta. Oh, in that case, permit me to direct you. From here, it's quite simple, really. Ascend these steps and then continue straight ahead and across the bridge. You cannot miss it. Thank you. Estinian, I do just see an Aethernet shard here. don't know how soon we might need to return. Being able to get around the city a little bit quicker might be useful. So up the stairs, and I think I remember where we are now. This definitely feels familiar. Hello. I remember passing by here, Vashan. The situation being as it was, he regretted not being able to show us the sights. Life has... excuse me. Life has yet to return to normal here. But when it does, you ought to pay another visit. Though the city is confusing, the food is quite good. I'm partial to Hamza myself. The meat's surprisingly tender and flavorful. I'll keep it in mind. I think you scared it a little. Oh, that was a gate. I didn't see that. There it is. An Ethernet shard right outside. That's helpful if I need to get to the front gate in a hurry. Excuse me. Greetings and welcome to Megaduda. May I inquire after your business? We are members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, come at the invitation of His Excellency. Of course. We have been expecting you. I will show you into the audience chamber. If you'd please follow me. Seems like most of us are here. Gra, you're up.
Are we the last to arrive?
I hope we've not kept you waiting.
Not at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you. Harness remedies are certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
Me too. Glad you're doing okay.
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls of its corrupting influence. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Radzatan.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the forging of your talismans. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia.
Thank you.
Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
With this, we can finally start fighting back.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Radzat will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
That's right.
'Tis of no moment. A mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, man slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man. Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance.
Never thought about what Rachel was doing during the Dragonsong War.
Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
'Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question.
What's this?
The Telephoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star.
Is the... I think I'm just being quiet, Minnie. Sorry, During voiced cutscenes, I don't like to talk as much out of character. But yes, welcome to the stream. Audio is coming through, right? OBS is saying it. It's picking me up. Was I mumbling just a bit? Oh. I do want... Okay, maybe I'm just being quiet.
As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nay, when war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift. Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydralin to whom you must look for answers.
About that. Shit. Me and Cryle...
Seek you to divine the will of this star? If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort. 'Tis a story from my youth, many, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsummer did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope.
The last bastion of hope.
He believed so long as Hydralin endured, so too might dragonkind.
I wonder why.
Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since.
If he hadn't exhausted himself in the battle with Omega, maybe he could have asked.
Yet take you solace in the knowledge that whatsoever Hydralin does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
Not thought about it that way.
Thank you, Vritra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telephoroi is far from finished.
That's true. So what's the next step?
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
I suppose after collecting the scales comes first, but after that...
Prithee, a moment.
Me?
There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor. 'Tis thee.
I suppose so. I do wish I could ask him his thoughts now.
I know of his clash with Omega, and the long slumber which was his price. Yet even closed in sleep, my father's eyes are far from blind. He is watching over thee, watching over this world. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsormr's trust, but alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe.
Too many threads?
Amidst this tangled knot, thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without surcease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence.
That's... I think I understand. It does feel like ever since I arrived in Eorzea, it's...
Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end.
Of course. I don't plan to lose anyone else.
Behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
Alphino? Alize?
Ah, apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
Is that My Happy Marriage? I feel I've heard of that one, but I don't think it's one I've watched.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
Right.
'Tis
Sorry.
I must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
I'll make sure we all do come back, Vitra. Don't worry. Sorry to keep you two waiting. Our apologies again. I hope we didn't force you to conclude your conversation prematurely. No worries, Alphinoids. I think what was needed to be said was said. So, what were you and Vitra talking about? That's... nothing important. Nothing? Very well, if you say so. The others have gone ahead at High Crucible. Let's catch up to them. Right, where's the High Crucible? The attendant was kind enough to give me directions to the High Crucible. First, let us return to the mulberry orchard. Right, that was just back opposite the Hamza pen, right? Go. Maybe it's something I need to... something I can watch after I finish watching F. And all the trauma that one contains. So, where to from here? I understand the mulberries are for the silkworms. Grown a stone's throw away from the satrap's residence. It gives it the quintessential Favenarian flair, don't you think? From here, we're supposed to follow the path left and past the mulberries. I'm not too familiar with this route. Tune to this while I pass it. It certainly is a colourful city. And the stones and bricks are... The word huge apparently means bind in the local tongue. And this district is so named because it connects all lovers in the city. If we manage to come this far, we shouldn't have trouble finding the High Crucible. Or, so I was told. Well, Alice, you seem to be leading the way. Where the street turns, enter the door straight ahead, then descend the steps. I thought the Crystarium was confusing, but it doesn't compare to Razahan. The architecture and decorations make it even harder to get your bearings. Anyway, let's see where this door takes us. So through here and down the stairs, but hard not to go down the stairs. Even further down. The Ephraite Plaza. Whew. Seems on the right track. And here's the Ephraite Plaza. So far, so good. And there isn't much further to go. From here, we just need to cross to the other side of the hall, then pass through the larger two doorways. The High Crucible lies beyond. I suspect the others have already collected the warding scales. Come, let us join them. One of the Radiant had mentioned Ephraite Plaza is closed. Right? Right. So I Guess I'll have to come back another time. Suppose the tower was only destroyed recently. It might take some time to get things back to normal here. Banquet? You took your time. Turned around, I take it. A little, I suppose you could say. Oh, this land hath been afforded a respite. In turmoil, to many others languish still. Our work is far from finished. Oh, some Chinese food. I imagine it's... I don't know if we have Panda Express over here, but I think we have a chain called Red Panda. Cool. I don't go to many... I don't think I go to any, like, chain Chinese restaurants or takeaways. So today I was out at the aquarium here in Northern Ireland. It was about a nearly 2-hour drive there and back each way. So I spent a lot of time in the car today. I think is why when I got home I needed to have a bit of a lie down. Panda Express is that good. Yeah, that's what I find. Chinese takeaways are... They taste very nice. They're not... I don't know how much you can say they're good for you, but... But yeah, the aquarium was brilliant. It's been years since I've gone, and it was kind of nice to have a day out with one of my little brothers and my mum, just going out for just a family day out. Particularly watching the like manta rays. I don't think they were manta rays, but they were. Is that something spotted ray they had? Just watching the rays is fascinating. And they had the otters they had there, which I didn't realize they had otters. And I'd not quite realized how vocal otters were as creatures. And as well that apparently otters have, like, their teeth are sharp enough and their jaws are powerful enough that they're in the same, like, risk category as lions and tigers. Spotted manta? I don't think it was a spotted manta ray. I think it was a something spotted ray. I just kind of say manta ray because my brain associates the term manta ray. Oh no. We were unfortunately not able to try the Korean food place because we weren't in... we were going to go to Belfast Zoo, which is kind of much closer to Belfast City. Spotted eagle? It might have been. It had a... I think it... I can't remember. I just remember something spotted ray, and it has like a... It's got the leopard camouflage on it. Yeah, no, the aquarium was an hour away from Belfast, so I think we just stopped at a service station on the way back and I got a Burger King because at that point in the day I just kind of wanted food. Anything would do. It was a fun day out. I'm guessing these are our boarding scales. We're lost, of course, but at least we found a place. No, there'll be another chance. You waiting on Heaven on High, Q?
The talismans we were promised.
I have not touched Heaven on High on either of my characters. Endwalker theme.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for.
That's... So
Enough
we're ready.
to outfit an entire company of soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, that they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Of course, you're just back to the Triple Triad collection.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
Right.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telephoroi's base of operations.
You mean... go straight to...
Of course, we would need to consult with various Alliance leaders before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated. To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Could be much quicker to just... I suppose we need to at some point anyway. Even if we take out the towers in Eorzea and Far East. Van Daniel will just come up with another plan if we don't stop him.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then.
Is there anything I can do?
Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Baldessian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Right.
Please, I must speak with you.
Nidana? You're okay to be up and about?
Nidana? You're awake?
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the Scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption. It seems I'd been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come.
I think that would have been Alize here.
As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta.
Thank you, Alize.
And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You've saved Thavnair from an awful fate.
Yet who hath truly saved whom?
I like Asinian's little smile, just the... maybe this hero business isn't so bad.
Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get something that, okay, I know this is spicy, but I'm ready for it. And you're not ready for it. Oh, that was me when I tried Mabo Tofu for the first time. I thought I was ready for the spice. I was not ready for the spice.
The talisman? Is this true?
It works. Look. All of that for the work you put in.
Oh, I was so groggy from sleep. I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it.
What? A heart bloom.
Look at that.
Its color is completely changed.
Right.
What do you have there?
It's called a heart bloom. It apparently responds to
How
emotion.
unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha.
Akasha?
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows.
Wonder what's got there. Yeah, that is an interesting question to think about. So, not one I'm culturally fluent enough to answer, I don't think.
Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach. A gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions.
I'm so used to kind of like swapping between reading English, like British English and American English, that I didn't even actually notice many. I kind of I read both spellings of colors just as exactly the same in my mind at this point.
Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities.
Putting in the effort to add that one extra key press, Minnie. Bare minimum effort, but still, yeah. I appreciate the effort, Minnie. I suppose there have been times like that. Times when I really shouldn't have been able to stand.
That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research. Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense! You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
I wonder if that's connected to what Eidolon said.
Shall we depart for Sharlayan then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the annex.
Right.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can.
And a green beans
From
down
here
your
onward,
fruit. Oh.
sleep is bound to be in short supply.
Is that something that's not supposed to be there? I can't say I've often had Kung Pao chicken, so... Eidolon said the flower was to be my guide. Does this Akasha have something to do with that? Thank you again, Nidana, for everything. The last thing I remember before being absorbed into the tower was you rushing towards me. I can only imagine the hardships you and yours must have had to overcome to rescue us. No amount of words will suffice to express my gratitude, but I hope the flower's radiant glow says everything I cannot. Is that what the color means? Thankfulness? I'm just glad that everyone here is safe. Much as I'd like to get straight to rescuing the others, dealing with the other towers. I think Ishtola's on the right track when she says about going straight to Garlemald. Garlemald. Think about it, I've been fighting the Empire pretty much since I started adventuring. Finally time to see where it all started. It's good to be back, and with the fruit of our labors safely in storage. For now, we have but to wait for the others to return from their respective meetings with the Alliance leaders. As Fankred suggested, you should get some rest in the meantime. I need to get back into working out as well. I've been meaning to sign up for the gym at my local community leisure center, because I know as just included in the gym subscription, they will kind of look at your fitness level and give you a recommended a course. Not that they'll be not that you'll have a direct personal trainer, but they'll kind of look at your fitness level and kind of go, okay, this is maybe what you should be doing anytime you come in here. If you have an hour, you can go through this list, which is something I find rather helpful. So, yeah, I know I need to get back into walking more, especially now it's summer and we've got the good weather for it. Yeah, I think normally when I'd go for a walk, it would always be at least for an hour, and that's up and down hills. Yeah, I think it does take an hour, give or take a couple of minutes, to get from my house to the nearest village. And then I'd stop in at the supermarket, grab a drink, and see if anyone happens to be able to give me a lift back. It's always scary because there's one I normally would take the back roads, but because the road I actually live on is quite a busy road, and there's a lot of people who go just slightly over the speed limit on it. And there's kind of a 200-foot stretch where I kind of run that bit just to get onto the back roads and out of the way. Did some weight training. Yeah. But walking's not bad. It gets you moving, especially if you're outdoors walking. I'm not a fan of doing exercises on the treadmill because you're just walking in place. I much prefer walking to do something. Maybe that's something I can do next week, though, is look at... try and figure out a way I can get into town regularly to get to the leisure center. I could start it off. I get an hour walk down to the bus. That can be my warm-up. Welcome back, Sorin. Graal has apprised me of your recent accomplishments. What an amazing feat to eliminate a tower, and paved the way to deal with the rest. While it isn't much, I've changed your sheets and plumped up your pillow. After all, there's nothing like collapsing in a nice clean bed after completing a major milestone, be it penning a thesis or defeating dayform entities. So, would you like to take a look at your new and improved lodgings now? Yeah. I think about it. I really could do with a lie down. Thank you. It's grey again. Does that mean the feelings in this area are still anxious?
Take heart and protect them well.
Oh. Come in. Who's that? Oh, everyone.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you?
No.
We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
Thank you. I was about to have a lie down, but now you bring food in? I don't think I can say no. Just let themselves in. Or better to like it too much than be too picky.
We invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Sharlayan cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Sharlayan feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
I think he should have known what he was getting into when he joined us. That is a big burger.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Quile, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes?
Right.
Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it?
Something like that.
Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat Han?
Right.
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telephoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle.
How effective
Mayhap
would
I
it be in
simply
battle?
require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion. They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
No, I forgot it genuinely was because he's short. But to be fair, the bookshelves in Numenon are pretty tall. Nighttime already. Well, as much as I like to hang out, guys, it's getting a little late.
One last cup of tea, then. Dickon said this brew helps relax the mind before bed. And gave us some leaves for free.
I think I can manage one cup of tea. Graha noticing the pickle. Oh.
Ah! Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon the ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
yes. Very well, then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome.
So I've just noticed. I would kind of like the I was kind of thinking the piano track in the background sounds familiar. It's a piano version of the Aerochemical Research Facility music. I'm 99% sure. Which I suppose fits with Fandaniel being a reincarnated Amon. I never picked up on that before.
Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is equal, equally tedious, equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow, until the void yawned once more. And then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth, much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
Yeah, grass as short as you can get for male Miko. Oh. Yeah, I'm curious. So, when you like picked the tallest height for Seri, was that like did you calculate kind of? Did you put your cannon height for her into a calculator to see what it would be in centimeters? So, what's next? there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope. I was about to make my way to the studio as it happens. So was the tallest height accurate, or was it... Is even the tallest height not quite tall enough? I wanted to try and speak with Skolak Monshane and thank him for coming to our rescue in Rostra. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Favnair. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with his former students. Since we're still waiting for your Stola and the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? Of course. Then it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to the phenomenon. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studium for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. Right. Well, we'll be back soon, Graha. Unlike some of the Scions, I am not an alumni of the studium. As such, I have no acquaintances there I am obliged to visit. And while I would love nothing more than to pore over the great many tomes of Phenomenon, I fear my presence there would stir up more unwanted trouble. So, for now I will be patient, much as it pains me to do so. That's something I can't remember, is that I can't remember if I... Like, when I was putting Sorin in, like, if I remembered to, like, make his height accurate. Am I interrupting, I'll say? Heading out for a stroll. Me and Kral are actually going to visit the studium. The Scholar himself was here. Oh, in that case, what are we waiting for? I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studium. I dare say on our trad he precedes us. Alphino of all people worrying over his reputation. And at our alma mater no less. The wonders never cease. You'll understand soon enough. Off we go. I do recall Alze mentioning before that Alphino was rather outspoken at the studium. I can help. That's the outfit for wearing in Sharlayan. I don't know why. I think Sorin's current paladin glam suits Sharlayan best of what he currently has. Here it is, Phenomenon. While I expect you made note of it before, one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? I think it's the first time I've been here at all. I attuned to the Aethernet shard, but I've never actually been inside. While most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums, it also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. As the center of what would later become the studium, it was established to promote the study of ethereological phenomena, hence the name. Though with ether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th Astral Era, Phenomenon was decreed complete, and the studium officially opened as a place of learning. With the long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in ethereology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Sharlayan's foremost educational institute. Feels almost like it's taken right out of a textbook. I always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited the same foppish speech. Such is his undying love for his old stomping ground. He was in top form back then. Youngest to enter the studium, graduated with highest honours in magical arts and philology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the studio at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious scholars. Nice of you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me. Nor did I do well enough to graduate with honours, and I am certainly not the studium's most notorious master debater. In all respects have I ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Levier began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know better than anyone the adoration the student body has for Alphino, and with a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. Right. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for Scholar Montchain. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims take him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. Right. I suppose he should be easy to spot, right? Or I wonder if he doesn't always wear that forum uniform. Excuse me. Are you okay? That was Alphino Levier, wasn't it? The Alphino Levier! And he's with his sister and Master Baldesian's granddaughter. Oh, this can only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word! Before you run off, you haven't seen a Scholar Montchain, right? Oh, sorry. You said you're looking for the Scholar, yes? Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Aliapo should have a better idea. Miss Aliapo. That's likely to be a Makote, right? Same surname as Chloe. Excuse me. Sirius Street? You mean Siri? Are you lost? Wander off in the street, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're a trainee gleaner fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is in order. Ahem. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Searcher's Meet. Let me start with a question. What is the most important thing you'll find in the studium? That's right, books. And what's the second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else. That's what we deal in here at Searcher's Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. If we don't have it in our stores, we send the gleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Eye of Paisa this, tongue of Gigantode that. It's enough to make your hair stand on end. Which is possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. Actually... I'm just here to speak with Scholar Montchain. Apologies. I beg your pudding? You're not a gleaner? And this was all an elaborate ruse. No, wait. Come to think of it, you never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to Maker's Meet. Go back the way you came in, and you'll see it on the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts, home to many rare and expensive curios, and not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. The time it's taken me to tell you all of this, the Scholar has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. have a feeling you'll need it. Oh, thank you. Follow the blood-curdling screams. Right. Is this the place? Excuse me. Yes, the Scholark was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor. Perhaps to one of the auditoriums. Thank you. Right. What here? Brial? I'm guessing you haven't found any sign of him? Unsurprisingly, the Scholark is not in his office. I did, however, speak with one student who saw him not long ago, so he can't have gone far. Right. That's locked. That's also locked. Wait, that... Excuse me. Scholark Monshane?
Ah, I remember you.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the Annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the Forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student.
I think it goes both ways, sir.
Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
I'll keep it in mind.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
They went that far?
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat.
I guess we're getting a lesson. That means the Forum physically can't tell us what's going on.
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology.
Well, from the way I understood it, Nam, I think it's not that only in certain company they can't talk about it, but kind of like even to each other they can't talk about it unless they all agree, like collectively as the forum, that they can talk about it. Which I imagine they'd only do in situations where they know they're in somewhere secure. Or possibly it's only kind of like when a new forum member is being sworn in or something, they take them to a special interrogation room or something and kind of go, okay, we're going to tell you some things. It's not and we're going to enchant you so it never leaves this room. And then from that point on, they kind of have to, even to each other, talk around the issue.
The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms. 2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul, and the memory. Can anyone tell me the 3rd?
Well, that would have to be physical ether, right? Corporeal ether. Like the type I make a carbon cloud of.
Very good. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar, consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us. This form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it.
Welcome to the studium? I think that's welcome to the studium. Sorry, I'm trying to yeah.
Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
You'd not be able to read it, right?
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
Vast scale.
The 7th Umbral Calamity.
Right. It's been a while since...
The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
I remember Baderon telling me that when I first arrived in Limsa.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation.
So this is important enough that they'll break their own laws for it.
Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace.
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty.
So that would be all but 9 or 10 members of the Forum, right?
Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
Like memories of the final days.
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable. Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet. I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend.
Thank you.
Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
So, about everything we just learned. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the Forum's true motives, and the mysteries of life itself for good measure. It's funny. I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in the days to come. And on that note, let's head back to the Annex. Perhaps on the way you could better acquaint yourself with Kialiapo as the scholar suggested, while I share our findings with Raha. Maybe another time. I'm not sure at the moment I quite have what skills they're looking for. Right. It's just you're still a Thancred Neurons, you're still busy. Excuse me? Ah, welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the studio proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from our fellow Scions. As expected, news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa Lominsa. So, the time has come for us to go on the offensive. It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Right. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain though. Preacher and the alchemists of the great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the Forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I wait word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. The tide is about to turn. I can feel it. To Limsa Lominsa. Let's get going. I forgot how much time you spend in Sharlayan before you actually get to move on to the next area. Oh wait, Commander, I'm not the Off Castle. I'm so used to when I return to Limsa to head straight for... what is it? Let's swap over to Reaper. I'm so used to going straight to the Off Castle because normally returning to Limsa for me means I'm here to do the expert deliveries and collect some seals. Ah, I was told to expect you. As you may or may not be aware, the Admiral is at present entertaining the Elder Seed Seer and the Sultana. Three of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to them? If it's okay to go straight up, I don't think now is the time to be taking my time. My apologies for calling you away from Sharlayan at such short notice. On the contrary, we are honored and grateful, and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. 'Twas only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it is only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? It hinges entirely on the warding scales and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During your time in Sharlayan, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts, with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge in abductions of kobolds, Sahagin, Ixal, and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph in Razatan has given us cause to hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace. And it is you, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telephoroi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlemald. These brave few will be the Ilsabard contingent. Ilsabard? So we're actually going straight for Garlemald. To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Telephoroi's every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. Aye, on that we can all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there's reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Telephoroi. They're certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied, while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Y'shtola's analysis of the tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the Tower of Zot, the spires siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the larger spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we've uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down, along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good, but what would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilsabard contingent. Consider it an official request, from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. Me? We can hardly say no. I've been getting involved with some Garleans here in Eorzea, and they're people as much as we are. If we can help them, we can't give up this opportunity. Couldn't have put it better myself. Y'shtola, Thancred, and Urianger have already pledged their support, and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding scales to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilsabard. Roban and Lord Emmerich are overseeing their preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known upon arrival. Pack warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Telephoroi so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go. Safe in the knowledge Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. To Garlemald, then. Stormblood. Best of everyone in the Eorzean Alliance and the Eastern Alliance. I wonder who else is going to be involved here. Lord Emmerich? Ah, fancy meeting you here. I trust our mutual friend is settling into life as a scion. Collaboration never was his forte. The moment the fighting ended, off he'd go, like a gaily cat swept up in a strong breeze. That's why Raven was so sad. Yeah. No, to me it doesn't feel too weird though. I feel they did the handoff well. And like they made sure like there were several quests that kind of dealt with we do see the quest, like that character growth as well through the quests. Like Nanamo does bring it up, kind of like I acknowledging that I need to learn how to run the company without Raban's help. But rest assured, he will always be there when you need him. Probably. Anything to say to that, Estinian? If Emmerich asks after me, say I'm getting on fine and leave it at that. Don't you dare breathe a word about the court. General Alden? Ah, the Wanderer's return. You've been busy, bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding skills of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Emmerich be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we've seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And, just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabard contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid under the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Yeah, I am fairly certain it's Pippin who's leading the Immortal Flames now. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 95% sure it's Pippin. Can't please them all. Sadly not. Though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Emmerich's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Oh, guys. Much has occurred since we parted ways in world. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. Yeah, Papashan's the leader of... No, he's not the... I think Papashan is only... He's not formally the leader. If I remember correctly, Papashan's like the retired head of the Sultan Sworn. But he's only kind of like semi-retired. He'll take up his sword again if the need be. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I can't remember if it's specifically told like what his current career is, like what his current position is. I just know he was a former member of the Sultan Sworn. Because I feel if he was a current member of the Sultan Sworn, he'd be captain instead of Genlins. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I've shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. So, you're not coming with us. Strange. I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. The Telephoroi have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilzabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus, and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. I think I can understand. You've got world to look after, don't... Anyway. I'll be trusting you with that. And I will defend it to my dying breath, after the sacrifices my sons and daughters made. I can do no less. I and the government of World intend to offer refuge to those fleeing Garlemald. Should that time come, we will be ready. In light of Gaius's rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and my people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? I've just realized Maximus wearing the same top as I've got for Sorin's Reaper. You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. And if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. Ooh, ooh. I suppose it's easy for some people to forget there are civilians in Garlemald too, and the only Imperials they've ever known are soldiers. The other members of the Ilzabard contingent are gathered in the Royal Palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you are ready. Well, let's see who we're working with. The only exceptions are special characters. I just feel it kind of works, because like this is the outfit I chose for going into Garlemald. The remaining members of the Scions. Your friends and most of the Ilsabard contingent await you within. Would you like me to see you through? I only wish this top was dyeable. Yeah, Emmerich is obviously... Yeah, obviously need to go to the Mog Station for that. This is... Is that... Police?
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard contingent.
That's Arkasodra as well. Yeah, I know the two on the left, they're both part of the Bard storyline. Then you've got... is it Aaron? From the White Mage. That's Sicard we've met. Pippin... 3 of the 5 brothers from the Thaumaturge's Guild. The Lalafell from... the Pugilist Guild. The Pugilist Guild. The Realm Reborn Dragoon mentor. What's his name? I can't remember the... machinist job mentor, and how have I forgotten his name? Is it Amanlin?
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades.
Lucia.
Lucia.
Amanlin? I think it's Amanlin.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end.
Yeah, it's always awkward trying to remember the spellings of Ishgardian names.
We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
Right. We're not alone.
We welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention.
Synchronized Lalafells.
Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must.
One of our customers for us crisps is done. Oh, I noticed this time, Minnie. I noticed that you're calling them crisps, not chips. It's National... It is National Donut Day? Darn. I had my donuts yesterday. I hadn't realized that one of our... one of the supermarkets we have here in my village stocked Dunkin' Donuts. So I got to pick up a couple. I think I picked them up Wednesday, but then didn't. I think I had one then Wednesday evening and one yesterday evening.
I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer, we shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
It's a missed opportunity. Would have been the perfect thing.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Sicard.
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hillfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me.
Would have been a perfect thing. I mean, I'm not good. I wouldn't be one to complain about free food regardless of what it is. Snacks are snacks. Sure, I could actually do it with some crisps. I need something salty.
Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but the promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do. Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy.
I forgot that there was I was kind of wondering that, like looking at the thing and kind of wondering, is there a reason we're bringing smiths with us?
Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telephoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
I'm sorry, I just noticed one of the Formator's guild leaders doing the blow kiss emote, didn't they? Yeah, the armor maintenance and all is important. I just kind of forgot until Sicard actually explained why they're there. They kind of, oh yeah, it does make sense.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the Avatar of Destruction. With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead.
That's a fair point.
Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
Lord Amonelane?
There he is.
Ah, yes. Emmanuel de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
Speaking of, it's been a while since I've seen our resident gentleman of light. Maybe it's for the best that he's not here. God, yeah, Atral kind of... I feel he's throwing Amanlin under the bus a little bit. Position of Gentleman of Light is already filled, yeah. Well, I mean, I'd be lying if I said dancing has never been important.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring-do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the Shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
I wonder if this is a good idea. Sadu and Magni?
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Good to see you again, Cyrena.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy! Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
Right.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telephoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Gaius bloody Baelsar himself is working to help rebuild Wurlid, a nation he once conquered. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garland Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telephoroi.
So we go the rest of the way on foot.
As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
Right, or else we can't escape.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Guess this is one point where I definitely want to talk to everyone. I'm glad to see you well, Sorin. Grandmother was worried for you. The night I agreed to come hither and join the contingent, the gods sent her a strange dream. 2 suns, one burning red, the other frozen black. Closer they circled, closer and closer, and as day danced the world fell to ruin. In blinding chaos she spied blackened silhouettes. I knew at once that one was yours. Yet we knew not how to interpret this dream, save as a sign that great danger awaits. But whatever lies ahead, I will walk with you, traveler. Sadu? Good to see you again. You and Mag and I won't cause any trouble, right? I care not for the Iron Men or their troubles. It is the destiny of the weak to die in ignominy. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. I volunteer to join this band at Cyrena's request, and if she thinks it a worthy cause, that is reason enough. Though we hail from different tribes, our bond has grown strong of late. She is much better company on a hunt than any of the steppes oafish men could dream to be. Magni? With them all, champions of the Nardum, and the Dotharl having sent so many here, I had fought to defend their steppe in their absence. And I would have done so were it not for my step-brothers. They urged me to grant our allies the sun's might, that his radiance may deliver them unto victory. Though I must tolerate the presence of this feral Dotharli dog, as first among my brothers, I could do no less than accept this challenge. My deeds will become the stuff of legends. Right. Hopefully their rivalry won't interfere. This is extraordinary. To be in such company. The finest our allies have to offer. With comrades such as these, we are bound to succeed. I'm certain of it. We've been part of joint military operations like this before, and with far greater numbers. But for some reason, this feels very different to our previous experiences. Despite having shared little more than introductions, there's already a palpable sense of camaraderie. So, Lucia's in command. Regardless of her background, she's a Temple Knight through and through. I dare say her Garlean roots are all the more reason for her to lead this mission. Would I be allowed to speak to these guys if I was... I can't remember, but if I'd leveled Bard, would I have been able to speak to them? I can't remember their names, but they're definitely involved in... I think it starts in Heavensward. Did they get involved in the Bard storyline? With so many people from so many places, I'm rather out of my element. Regardless, I'm a Seed Seer, and I will endeavor to acquit myself accordingly. Arkasodra? I wasn't expecting to see you here. Greetings, Sorin. The time has come for us Marines to show our valor upon the battlefield. All who will see us will know of our name and quake before our might. To victory! Come hills or high water! Till the Empire fell, Garleans were the only ones we was allowed to impose tariffs upon at sea. Weren't easy pickings, but I made myself a pretty kill. Since they've been so generous to me and mine, perhaps it's time I return to favor. Give a little something back. I'm here representing the Marauders Guild, and it's my job to keep the Smiths out of harm's way. Mind you, with them Hammonds of theirs, they can put up a fair fight themselves. With a bit of luck, this'll be over and done before you know it. Maybe when this is all over, you could pay the Axemaster a visit. Oh, that didn't happen. That didn't happen for Sorin. I haven't done the Marauder quests on Sorin. Often his father told me of the struggles faced by Alamigo in the days of occupation. And I too have crossed swords with the Empire on many occasions. Though Garlemald has long been our bitter enemy, Her Grace has elected to bolster the Ilsabard contingent with members of the Immortal Flames. As representatives of the Sultanate, we are one in our commitment to the cause. Elise, it's been a while since we've worked together. It seems so long ago we were sailing across the Ruby Sea, charging around the Azim Steppe with Cyrna and the others. I'd say we're overdue for another adventure. It brings back memories to see so many familiar faces. We've been through so much together. Good times and not so good. I expect Garlemald will mostly be the latter, but I'd like to believe we'll look back on these days more fondly in the years to come. But for that to happen, we'll have to make it out of this alive. Don't you down me, aye? I've led troops into battle many a time, but never a unit with such a diverse range of talents. While I've been briefed on their capabilities, I expect you could provide additional insight into their strengths and weaknesses. I'd appreciate any advice you may have. I'll do my best. I cast my lot with the Popularis to bridge the divide between Garlemald and her territories, that all may be united in common cause. But we were disparaged as a radical element, dissenters looking to destabilize the Empire from within. Many friends and even my parents perished in unfortunate accidents. I too would surely have met the same fate had I not defected. Excuse me? Nevertheless, I still dream of equality and peace for us all. As the world itself stands on the brink of collapse, I hold out hope that one day that dream will become reality. Madeline? Oh well, if I'd known what a social gathering this would turn out to be, I'd have dressed for the occasion. Still, this seems the perfect opportunity to mingle with the other guests. would I be correct in assuming those ladies over yonder are Sirda and Sado of the Steppe? Perhaps I should introduce myself. I don't much like the look of that fellow if the Norris acts. Madeline, I'd maybe keep yourself in this situation. I have close ties with the scouts of the Eastern Alliance and the various resistance groups. They're an absolute joy to work with. Blessed are we to have made countless steadfast allies o'er our journey's course. Indeed, we are joined today by many new acquaintances, who in time shall we come to call our comrades, and mayhap friends. I was half expecting to find a man who taught me red magic amongst our number, but he's nowhere to be seen. I suppose he's had his share of unpleasant experiences with the Empire, but so have we all. Perhaps there's some other reason. Well, in any case, I have a feeling I'll see him again once this is all over. I'm sure I'll be pleasantly surprised by how much my swordplay has improved since we last met. If we get role like job quests in Dawn Trail again, I would really like to have Alize show up in the Red Mage one, because I can only assume that Zerun is the same person who taught Alize. It'd just be kind of nice to kind of get that point together. Especially by that point in Dawn Trail. Like, you'd have to... You'd definitely be familiar with the fact Alize is a red mage. Besides the delegates assembled here, the Amalja and several other tribes offered to send troops of their own. Unfortunately, due to their physiology, many would struggle simply to survive in the harsh climate of Ilsabard. They would also likely prove tempting targets for abduction by the Telephoroi. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defences in Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been noted. We few shall have to suffice. Ere we embark, we must distribute the warding scales to our comrades. Care to do the honours? Of course. Serna? We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. Oh. These enchanted talismans, or should I be talisman, would probably require considerably less time and effort to produce if the alchemists of the great work were not so preoccupied with making them look pretty. That's a point. They are rather aesthetically designed as well. Nope. You'll need these. They'll keep you safe from tempering. Oh, the talismans! We are to keep these close at all times, yes? I will see no one misplaces theirs. And before I forget, I have a message from Hien. In distant lands, in times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of life. I hope I have done his words justice. Doma, like much of Offard, has been plagued by the towers. Yet while he could not be here, he wished to express his shared conviction. Hien and Yugiri labour without rest to unite the people, and with their aid will we keep the enemy at bay. And we of the Steppe and the Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts by ending this war. Aaron? Yes? I've got your Durgadanian portion of warding talismans. So these are the famed warding scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. Under normal circumstances, I would not be allowed to travel outside of Twelfswood. The Elder Seedseer, however, has granted me special permission. She has bid me lend my magics to the people of Garlemald while learning all I can of their ways. In so doing, I will come closer to understanding myself and my place in the world. Or so she says. I say it is past time our allies benefited from the power at the Seedseer's disposal. Some bemoan that we hide our light under a bushel, but I intend to address that criticism. Sicard? Hey, you've got something for us. Here's your portion of scales. Ah, them scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, ain't they? Reckon they'll be worth a gill or two when this is all over, but we'll hold on to them for now. One more thing. I know what you're all thinking. Why didn't they send Einzar instead? Buggered if I know. All the Admiral and Captain Hilfier told me was they needed someone to help safeguard the future. And here I am. Can't say they haven't got a sense of humour. Of course, some of you might be wondering what good a pirate is on dry land, in the middle of the sodden snow of all places. Well, me and my crew will do whatever needs doing. So let's set sail, or however the saying goes on airships. Least, had a set of warding scales, I spy. Not that I would know what they'd look like. Well, you'd be right. Look at these. Even a layman like me can tell they're bursting with ether. All the better to fend off the tempering waves? Is that the right term? Anyway, these will give us one less thing to worry about. Which just leaves the other mountain or whatever else is waiting for us in Garlemald. Only one way to find out, eh? And nervous or not, I'd march through all 7 hells if it gave me a chance to put Xenos back in the grave where he belongs. Oop. Lucia? Warding scales for the Ishgardian delegation, I take it. You'd be right. Many thanks. These talismans may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself conflicted by this foray into Garlemald, sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard, only to throw in my lot with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing. And now I lead a mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. But that is doubtless why I was chosen by Lord Emmer. He would not have me put my extensive knowledge and former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I will lead us to victory. Maxima, you'll need one as well. Do you have a warding skill for me too? Here you go. Thank you for this, and for going to such incredible lengths for the sake of my people. Though I have little to offer in return, I would impart some advice, if I may. You have been told by many to wear the cold of Ilzabard. I cannot stress enough that this is no token warning. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemists Guild, but understand that they are no substitute for proper protection. I leave the provisioning of said protection to your discretion. Now, let us proceed to the Almegan Quarter. While you make your final preparations, I will have the pilots ready the airships. Alright. Well, everyone. This is our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Urianger and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald before. Estinian claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, and since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I have no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing Grand Company stock. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with style. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I wouldn't be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something to my liking. Hark! Is that the cry of silence in need of a tailor I hear? Tataru? But how? I have my ways. Oh, yes, indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilzabard without telling me? Nothing escapes my notice. Now, you will wear these garments I've made for you whether you like it or not. You never cease to amaze. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Wait, are you coming with us? What? No, of course not, silly. It's all in the name of fashion. Rather, the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my creations if I've never worn them myself? I did have one other thing to share. Artemis and Bloomweeda have finally returned from assignments in faraway lands. They'll be staying at the Rising Stones for a while. Keep an eye on events throughout Eorzea. Since they'll be running things back at headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Sharlayan. Why not? You can keep Corral company in the Baldesian Annex. Yes, we'd love to have you there. I heard Arkasodra and Bloomweeda did a fine job carrying on in our stead while we were lying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've got nothing to worry about. My thoughts exactly. Also, while I'm confident you won't go collapsing again, because a certain someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transport your souls to another world, if anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'll be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of, and then I'll make my way to Sharlayan. Really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. It's not much, but it's the only thing I can do for you. Other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. Well, let's not keep the contingent waiting any longer. To Garlemald. Here are your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly. Thank you, Tataru. Northsea. I guess Sorin should put that on, shouldn't he? Where's it? Northsea coat. Definitely warm. Thank you, Tataru. I'm told the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. Ah, here he is. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways, but do be careful, won't you? It's an honor to finally meet you. We of the Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains and into Garlemald. For many of us, it will be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was only our most notable Imperial defector. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of the expedition. Our resources are at your disposal, and if there is aught we might do to be of further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. If you are ready to depart, I will ready the engines. Actually, I might leave it there. I kind of hope to make it to Garlemald this stream. But looking at the time I have left, and I can't remember quite how long all that instance is going to take. So I might leave it there for tonight. I hadn't expected it to take the, 2.5 hours to get to this point. When it's been just a lot of talking to people in Sharlayan and then talking to people here. Yeah. I kind of just do... I'm feeling pretty tired. Oh, there's a sightseeing spot up here. Let's grab that while I'm here. I thought I'd done this my Stormblood sightseeing log, Sorin. Let's finish with a view of that tower. Ominous as it is. streamed for a good, yeah. Got 2.5 hours of progress. I just kind of feel that I'm kind of remembering, if I'm remembering that instance correctly, there's like, it's split into several different battles and quite a few cutscenes. Because if I remember correctly, it kind of is, that instance covers the events of like several in-world days of traveling. So I'm kind of nervous that if I start it now, it's gonna drag on to stream for a while, and I'm starting to feel the sleepy approach. But it'll be a far more, yeah, it's been a fairly slow stream for this one. It's a lot of talking, just a lot of conversations moving the plot forward. And that means next stream can start the action right in from the get-go. So, right, that's all the streams for this week then. Next week I'll be finishing off Persona 3, which I'm still a little annoyed I didn't get to do yesterday, but there was drilling and sawing going on outside my room, and it was loud. So I didn't want to subject people to that, and I feel especially for the finale of Persona 3, I kind of want I want to make sure the finale stream goes smoothly. But yeah, so next week, yeah, I might actually do my Persona stream on Tuesday, because I'm planning to do 3 Final Fantasy streams, because the next Persona 3 stream is going to be the last one. And I was just thinking, if I do Persona 3 on Monday, that means then I'm doing 3 Final Fantasy streams in a row. So I might break it up by doing Final Fantasy on Monday, Persona on Tuesday, and then Final Fantasy Thursday and Friday. And then the week after, I'll be starting in on, I think it was the Bunny Graveyard I decided was the next game I was going to play. Yeah, I'll be replacing Persona 3 with a couple of shorter games for a little while, before I commit to any longer games. And that'll let me focus on, again, I kind of hope I can get Endwalker finished, at least the main story of Endwalker before the patches. I'm hoping I can get that finished before Dawn Trail releases. And then I'm going to be taking a bit of a break from Sorin's Journey. But yeah, I'm talking too far into the future at the moment. So with all that said, as usual, schedule will be up on YouTube hopefully Monday. But regardless, thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you enjoyed. And until the next time I see you, hope you have a good evening, have a good night, and goodbye.